speaking in front of people is nerve-wracking. We get anxious. So what I'd like to do is share with you 10 anxiety management techniques. The very first technique is to greet your anxiety. When you begin to feel those jitters, you start feeling like, oh no, everybody's going to tell that I'm nervous, and we begin to actually make ourselves more and more nervous. Say to yourself, it makes sense that I'm nervous. And by acknowledging your anxiety, you short-circuit that building of anxiety. Another very useful technique is to work on breathing. Nervous speakers breathe very shallow. By simply taking some deep belly breaths prior to speaking, you slow down your blood pressure and your heart rate. It can help you tremendously. Another thing to try is to warm up your voice. Singers practice their vocal range before they go out on stage. Speakers need to do the same thing. Say a tongue twister. Do something to warm up your voice. Too often, nervous speakers feel like everybody's attention is focused on analyzing and evaluating them. If your attention is on your audience and giving them what they need, that gives you less bandwidth to worry about yourself. Another useful technique is to write down your fears. By writing them down, we get them out of our head. It gives us more of a sense of agency and control over them. Many of us, when we speak, worry about how bad things can go. And instead, we should expect success. What could it be like if it goes well? Success can simply be getting through all of your material. If you expect success, that gives you more of a sense of control and a goal that you will be pleased to try to achieve. Reframing the speaking situation is one of the most powerful tools. Instead of seeing speaking as a performance, view it as a conversation. First, practice conversationally. Sit around and converse your presentation with somebody. Second, use conversational language. Nervous speakers say things like, one must consider the ramifications. We don't talk that way. They should say things like, you should consider. Third, use questions. Questions are dialogic. They're two-way. They're conversational. Another thing that we have to rid ourselves of is procrastination. A great way to do that is to publicly commit to your goals. By publicly committing to those goals, it will help you actually get your presentation prepared and ready. Another thing that gets people very nervous is thinking about all the things that could go wrong. So if you're afraid that your slide deck isn't going to be able to project, have a file that you can email to people. By having contingencies thought about and planned for, gets you out of that paralysis that comes from all of these concerns. The last bit of advice I give you is to break away from slides. Start with an outline. By having a structure that you've thought about that's in outline form, it gives you something to come back to. If all you have are slides, then you are floating in space. You don't have something to root them down.